Alright folks, welcome back. We're just going to hop directly into game. Luckily, SortOf's name stayed where it was on the overlay, so I don't have to fiddle with anything. It is game number 3, as stated before, tied up now 1-1 in the semifinals. Spawning here on the bottom left side of the map, playing for Team Liquid. It's the red Terran player, Bunny.
The top right as the blue Zerg, sort of.
Alright, so I kind of was going to start making jokes, but in all seriousness, if we had seen sort of... One sec, sorry. What am I sneezing so much for tonight? Ugh, I'm sorry, one sec.
Got that flu, buddy. Internet flu.
I don't know, it's like... Because there are sometimes I just get really sneezy, like I'm not sick or anything, but... Sorry about that, everybody. Anyways, I was going to joke about sort of getting Hive Tech last time, but the truth of the situation is, in this imaginary world where he had the money and the time, if he had Hive Tech, if he had Ultras, he may have actually been able to contest what Bunny was bringing to the party. Again, Bio is so just flimsy, but I think a lot of that game started falling apart where he didn't, you brought it up several times, like Bailing speed was so late, Bailings were not there, the upgrades were for melee, but the army was roaches. A lot of stuff for sort of just did not jive well that game.
Yeah. Bit of, I don't know. They've both gotten it out of their system, hopefully, right? Like, Bunny had that stem timing mess up. Sort of got caught up in, you know, having to defend with roaches and just did not jive well with his plan. Now this third game, hopefully everything will be aces, and we'll see, like, that late game... ultra cool game.
Super awesome. Cool. I'm actually
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry to do this. I'm gonna go grab an allergy pill really quick. I don't know what's going on, so camera's on you and it's all messed up. Cool. Be back in like 1 sec.
Yeah. Give me more warning, bro. Anyways, seriously though, if we saw like a really late game, but one where they're both on even footing, that would be really good. Just like as an experiment, right? The more we see two players of rather equal skill level, who we know can show good games, get to that point, that ultra point, and, you know, the more chances we'll have to see people figure out what to do against them. Like, what is the best way to do it? To drop a lot, to go Liberators, what do we know? Or, if nothing really works, it's more information to give, you know, Blizzard and say, like, look, Ultras really are stupid, or Marauders being nerfed really were stupid, like, that type of stuff. But unfortunately, we just don't see it that often. We have Roach, Ravager, Corruptor being a big deal that doesn't really test the Ultras. We have games just ending beforehand because Liberators are too good in the mid-game, like, that type of stuff. So... I don't even know if we'll get to the Ultra problem until after, probably not until after Legacy of the Void's released, to be honest, because it's coming, man. Like, it's only 2 weeks away now? No, 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away, I think.
Alright. So sorry about that. I am being the worst co-caster tonight.
Yeah, you are. Nah, you're fine.
Well, what? I don't know what to believe. She said both things, guys.
Yeah, I should have said JK just to make it really clear. You know what's so weird? Like, 4 months ago, we would say, like, oh, don't even worry about it. By the time Legacy of the Void was released, all of this will be different. And that's still true, because in 3 weeks, a lot of things can be different. But man, it's like only, it's like less than a month until Legacy of the Void is released.
Yeah, that's really hitting home, too, with a lot of the folks who are getting salty on Reddit, where it's just like, man, what actual changes, what's happening? Is this game going to be okay when it's live? I mean... We've talked about how there's a lot of changes that have gone through that I think a lot of people just didn't appreciate, / are subtle, / have been forgotten about, but... I don't know. I definitely will say that as imbalanced as the game is, and it absolutely is, there's no question about that, I like the current version of Legacy of the Void so much more than I like HOTS.
Yeah, me too. It's a much more fun game. I don't know. I really... When people say that it isn't, because it is so imbalanced, I'm like, it's really not that imbalanced. Like... For whatever reason, we have everyone complaining, which is usually a good sign. You know, when Zerg stopped complaining about anything because people didn't infester, they got all quiet. You knew something was up. But if everyone's complaining, then it's all good. Actually, I think genuinely the consensus is that Zerg is doing okay and everyone else is having trouble. But let's not be logical here.
Well, on that same token, though, like regardless of whether Zerg's doing okay or not, it's interesting because Zerg got so many buffs right out of the bat for Legacy. and then they've hardly been touched since then. I kind of wish they had taken the same approach with the other races, where instead of trying to ridiculously fine-tune everything, they said, okay, let's just make everything broken and take it from there.
They made all of the new units for Turtles and Terran broken. Ooh, that did not do a lot of damage. Whereas for Zerg, for whatever reason, they changed a lot of the current units, like the ones that you're guaranteed to use. So that was odd. But anyways, that's so long ago that Legacy of the Void beta was released.
Well, I mean, the Liberator's cool. It's caused obviously a lot more problems, but man, I miss the Herc. I really thought that was such a cool fun unit.
Yeah, I think a lot of Terran players are just going to be sore that it wasn't a bio unit that was introduced. That it was a starport unit. I would honestly at this point prefer the Liberator and get rid of the Cyclone.
I'm going to actually go ahead and back you up on that. The Cyclone has been so difficult to balance. And the whole time, by the way, too, I'm just like, they're trying to make it unique. Why not just give us the diamond back for the campaign, you know? Seriously, this unit was already in the game. You're trying to redesign something brand new. Anyways, Blizzard. I have faith in Blizzard.
Well, this multi-point attack could be dangerous. Looks like Bunny is going to be able to defend against the Ling counterattack just by having a wall. Oh, okay, well, the Hellions didn't do very much. And the drop didn't do very much.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought their bases are done. Oh, I thought it was done. I thought we'd just be able to lift it.
More importantly, the tank dies here as well. He's going to have to cancel this. No cancel. Bunny falling apart. What?
Oh, that all went terrible. Oh.
Oh, dear. I'm actually... For Bunny's sake, I understand being a little rusty. And this isn't just a cop-out for him. He actually said, forgive me if I'm a little rusty. It was the first thing he said when we cast him earlier today. But this has really just been going poorly. Like, this is 2 big mistakes, basically. That was a nicely set up plan. It just was all off-timed, off-beat. It sort of was surprisingly prepared, actually. I guess we should talk about that. Let's on Bunny's mistakes and good on SortOf for having everything, you know, ready to go. Because he did go for another, like, macro build. It wasn't 2-base. It wasn't a roach push. Like, it was going to be defensive. In this game, as opposed to that, I think that was the first game, the defensive posture actually really worked. Like, it was like a trap that sprung when Bunny tried to be aggressive, and now he's taking a good lead from it. This is weird because I feel like, again, I know Bunny's taken some time off and he hasn't been hardcore part of the scene for a while, but it's just like, it's weird to be saying, oh, Bunny's making these very silly mistakes, and that's totally being overly critical, and I understand, but it's just, I guess I've become so used to seeing him as this ultimate god Terran.
Get over it, man. God's dead.
Whoa, calm down there, Nietzsche.
Why is... This isn't like... You know, like epitome, okay? Like, you wouldn't think that epitome is spelled the way that it is, alright? Epitome. That's Nietzsche for me.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a lot of feelings about epitome.
I was actually really upset. I thought I was being so clever when I was making the joke about, because Pure Dragon's podcast was about people having niches, cute little niche and all those things. Or
oh, I don't think anyone got the joke. I didn't.
No, so I was like, oh, that feeling when they talk about Nietzsche and they don't invite you. I was like, aw, no one gets this.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get it. I thought about like listening to the podcast to see if they talked about God, and it's like, what the hell are you talking about? Glad I didn't.
Alright, Liberators are trying to hunt down these mutas. They can certainly take on if they're not spread, but if they spread, this turns around pretty badly. But still, this many Liberators dishes out quite a bit of damage no matter how you look at this. And the Liberators, they'll push back the mutas. This is one aspect of the Liberator I do enjoy, the air splash. I mean, we talk about whether it's good or not, whether it's OP or not, but it fills a role that was missing. And Terran had to rely on Ravens for splash, and frankly, that wasn't okay.
Yeah. Well, they were... I mean, there was a time where, like, mass mutas was so stupid, and people were figuring out, like, mass Vikings, or even just early Vikings, and that was kind of cool, but honestly, Valkyries... Or, not Valkyries. Liberators are cooler units than Vikings, because they're like Valkyries. That's where I was going.
Well, they are, but, I mean, like, yeah, you bring up the Vikings, like, Salvation would always do, like, those 5 Vikings in ZBT, and I rather enjoyed those tactics, but it was really... I don't know, the Liberator is just cooler. Pizzazz.
It is.
The missile
really
shots.
Is. The sounds. The voice actress.
Actually, I
It's all
will say,
beautiful.
as much as I might not be a fan of the Cyclone, I like the Cyclone's voice acting, and I like this the Liberator's voice acting. I think they were on point with both of those.
What are the Cyclones? I forget already.
Kind of the robotic guy.
what I
Cyclone,
thought.
ready for action.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I really get it. No, I don't like that as much. Oh, well. We need to actually play this game. You know? We haven't played it in a while. At least I haven't. I haven't played it in weeks. And I haven't really heard the new Protoss sounds.
I just like that they did that.
It just sounds so weird not to hear them be cowardly.
The Disruptor one, actually, the voice for that sounds quite odd. It's like very hollow. Anyways, Bunny has bulked up this really scary defense at home. Marines are spread, tanks are spread. Like, unfortunately, by sitting at home like this, he lets sort of go to Hive Tech. He lets sort of get this like really ahead, I guess. But we have a Ghost Academy. This is what I find really interesting. So you questioned, like, are we going to see this for EMPs on the Vipers? Maybe. I would totally love if this was snipes for the Ultras. I was making jokes earlier, but I've seen Combination 4GG and Polt both use these to stack up, like, I think it's 6 shots to kill the, no, it's 4 shots to kill the Ultra. It's 100, no, how much, it's 100 and something damage. I can't remember off the top of my head. We'll look at it in a sec. But point is, the Ghost Snipe is really finicky, but it's interesting how strong it can be. I say can because it's really hard to actually use it.
You know what I prefer over Ghosts, although Ghosts, Nukes, and Snipes would be cool? Since we're getting into this position where it is late game, and they're both on relatively, like, good levels here, like their economies are obviously SortOf is better than Bunnies, but they got here and they're not too badly scarred. We could talk about, like, Banshees.
Hyperflight Rotor Banshees,
Yeah.
please come back into the matchup. Please come back into the meta.
Yeah, but you can barely afford, like, Liberators plus something else, but you definitely can afford Liberators, Ghosts, and Banshees.
That is a lot of ghosts coming out here. Where is that snipe ability? Of course, they move really fast now, which is cool too. Yeah, snipe is 170 damage and it ignores armor, so about, what, 500 health on an Ultra? I guess you need about 3 or 4, yeah, to get that kill.
Yeah, that's totally gonna happen.
I mean, they did reduce the channel time now too. You don't have to channel it as long. I don't know.
I'm still not impressed.
I'm not either, but then again, I did use that one time versus an Adept and felt really good about it.
You're like, yeah, even though we're already winning.
Well, that was the game too. That was like our Masters promotion. There's just so much goodness about it.
I could care less that it was Masters.
It was the
fact that we beat
cheater.
that guy.
Yeah,
Oh god,
stream
no
cheater.
splits.
We should play some more Archon Mode sometime. I'd be down. Not this week. We got so much for casting this week, but you know, sometime.
Not having a 4th base at around 14 minutes is pretty bad. And an additional problem is that, yeah, you get your 4th base, you're back on like 1.5 bases mining. Good luck getting a 5th, especially in a game like this where SortOf has really taken over the map. The creep might be on Bunny's potential 5th. The time he's ready to take it.
So, I just want to explain the snipe mechanic really quick because we might just see this come in action. The Ghost now has to channel an ability for like 1.5 seconds. After that, it'll shoot a shot that's 170 damage, armor piercing, cool. But if it takes any damage in that time period, any damage at all, 1 ling hit, the splash of a Baneling, it will cancel the attack. It's dumb, frankly. But Bunny's getting so many ghosts, so I mean, it's gonna guarantee some of these shots go off, I guess, just through quantity. Here comes the Ultras for that bust, though. We're gonna get to see if these are gonna be in effect or not.
Here
There
we go.
Snipes, yeah.
Oh, they're all right. Can they happen again though? Did that use all their energy?
It took out the first wave of Ultras, and truthfully, that was all they really needed to do. Now, we did have parasitic bombs go on top of the Liberators while this went on, and unfortunately, Bunny did lose some of his air, plus 2 command centers. Pardon me, 3 command centers.
Oh, okay, then not worth it.
GG. Was cool to see the snipes in action, though. I did like seeing the snipes in action, though.
I was gonna be really excited, and it didn't happen. Oh well.
All right, well, boys and girls, that means we're going to see SortOf move on to the finals. We'll probably follow this one through, though, because this is going to be a qualifying round. He's going to move on to fight against Cyril, actually, in a ZvZ. Now, don't worry, before everyone freaks out, ZvZ is like a million times more interesting in Legacy. If for no other reason, at least it's